So here we are. The odd thing I notice about this, I think it's supposed to open out this way just because of the way the writing is. It's very unusual. Most things you have them to the left and they open out, but that seems to be upside down. It's a bit of strange, but anyway, never mind. We'll just angle this down at the moment. Obviously much thinner, this paper. So you can see here, not a watercolour paper at all. This is for sketch, just general sketching. But let's just pop in a quick sketch, similar kind of lines that we had before. There's tree sort of coming here. A few suggestions of trees in the background, and then a figure just in, say there's a head coming in here, some legs coming down, sort of walking the dog there. I'll just about do it. Okay, so really fast sketch. Don't want to be spending any time on this at all. Done. Let's see what happens. Quite excited to see how this paper holds up. Again, we will go in same colours then. Just going for some cobalt into the sky. Whoa! Now that's instantly different, you can say straight away. Just see the way that the paint is kind of, it's just doing weird things. It's just not acting like watercolour paper at all. Let's pop in some of the yellow ochre and see what happens with that. So this is acting weird. Not what I expect, but quite nice in a way. I mean, the way it's kind of got its own, it's got its own uniqueness, I guess. It's not going to act at all like watercolour. So I think roughly next I came in and popped in some of this yellow ochre going back to find in here. And it's all started to run up now. Look, it's peeking up. Maybe I should have just taped that down because it's going to pollute the paper underneath. Let's do that now. Stop that from taking over. Might pop some on the corner there as well just to curl that over. But there's some interesting effects. Whoops, there's my finger there. Let's just get that out. So my fingerprint. Take that out because that's not looking quite right. Let's go back in with some tissue in here and just take out some of this. It's not going right the way back to the paper though, is it? It's coming with some umber. This is the kind of thing we were doing before. The one thing I noticed is because this paper is quite not absorbent and shiny, it's creating a completely different effect. It's almost I'm not sure, cartoon-like or font. Just doesn't quite feel right at all. And I suppose when you get used to a certain paper, you know the properties of it and how to work on it. I'm just going to put in a couple of these just to break that off. So, I'm not particularly impressed, except the sky does actually look very interesting. Let's put in some ultramarine. Just dot some in there. I'll bring the other one up for a comparison in a second. We can see how the two have worked together. It should probably be faded a bit because it's a bit too strong here. Let's try and create a bit of light in there. An interesting effect. So all of these are experimentations in art and good to have a go at various things just to see what happens really. It doesn't like water too much though, does it, this paper? But if you wanted to get a flavour of something, I suppose it'd be okay. I'd be inclined though to go for the watercolour pad. The smaller watercolour paper pad, to my mind, seems to be a better option, but it's all subjective, as we know. It's all about the properties of the paper, and that's almost dry there. The other thing I was going to do on this one, finally, so keep this this is quite a quick demonstration. I'm going to mix up some cobalt and some alizarin. It's quite strong, we'll be able to use that twice. By that I mean I can dip in here. Whoa, that's way too strong. Let's bluify it. Is that a word, bluify? It is now. And let's say the shadows are coming this way over. And that there's trees on this right hand side. The shadows are breaking through from those trees. If it's a plough field, you're going to get things popping up and down. Let's go a touch darker with the blue at the back. Fade out some of these. Put in some clear water now and again. We don't want all the edges sharp. Notice how lots of shadows, as they fade away, they really do fade. They lose their sharpness at the edge. Let's pop one in right at the bottom here. There you go. Take these off, otherwise they look a bit weird. They're not coming from anywhere. And we'll just pop in some cooler blue down here near the figures. They're in shadow there. Of course, the final thing we didn't do was pop in the trees, so let's come in here with this cad yellow. Makes up a nice little green. Turn this on its side, and we're going to drag down. Get a little bit of mixture difference, otherwise it's all the same. Go a bit darker with the blue. There we go. Leave a few little skylight holes through there. Let's see those. There's the trees. We said they were blue in the background, but we could have another small row of green trees before the blue. So, it's quite nice. Just going to strengthen the shadow finally in the foreground. Try and get this little demonstration in under 10 minutes. Just notice it was cobalt blue added to the burnt umber, warming it up down here and just creating a bit of variation in the shadows, to be honest. As this dries off, I will add in some of this. Let's try. There we go. A couple of scratches. You'll backfill if it's too wet, which is backfilling, but that's quite nice for a plough field effect there, look. There we go. So that was put together really fast, and that's why I call it a quick sketch. So we'll whip that one out of the way. Some really nice, the way it's sort of going into the tooth drying effects there. Yeah, that's good. That's watercolor. That's great. Tiny little sketch. Back to this one. It's kind of dry. It's not totally dry yet. Let's build up the trees on this right hand side with a similar side of mixture that we had before and see what happens. So we had some trees up here, didn't we? But just look at that. As soon as it's uncontrollable, is what I'd say. It just is very strange. It just doesn't interact with the way I would expect watercolors to interact with paper. That's because it's not a watercolor paper, it's a cartridge paper, so it's pretty useless for that. Excuse this heavy cold. And then I'm going to put in the shadows. We've got some shadow color there, and look at that, it just really isn't doing it, is it? Let's pop in the same colors that we had before, alizarin crimson plus the cobalt, and see. No, I'm just not feeling this at all. Just no. It's just a mess. So I wouldn't worry too much using watercolor with cartridge paper. These quality paints just don't really go with it. They just don't do it. A nice effect here though, if you wanted to try and get sort of sky effects. My inkling really would be to just have a small watercolor paper, sketch pad with you. In terms of price, you're probably going to pay double for this size to this, but it's going to be worth it in the end, because you're going to have some really nice sketches that you can utilize back in the studio. So there you go, a little comparison between the two. You decide. I know my decision already. There we go. Take me right there. Me right there. One more because it's come out. Anyway, thanks for that. I did slightly run over the 10 minutes. Remember to subscribe. Remember to keep watching. And take care now, and happy painting.